Good afternoon to everyone. It's really my proud privilege to be here and addressing this esteemed gathering today, and particularly in the Energy Leadership Summit 2024 being organized by Economic Times. I've been asked to speak on three major topics today, particularly technology, policy, and finance. I think all these three go hand in hand, but generally it is seen in an isolated manner, and that is where we end up missing the bus. Particularly I think we have been hearing in the previous panel, people speaking about the pros and cons and where we are in the energy sector, how we are able to meet the goals of energy transitions. Everybody has its own perspective. I see energy sector which is passing through a very, very challenging phase as of now in the space of energy transition. And more so in energy sector, I'll say the power sector itself is under a state of churning, and we are trying to really manage this transition in a much effective manner. How do we do it? It's a big challenge. Coupled with this is the challenge of climate change, and that is how do we really quickly address the issue of CO2 emissions. And the third factor that goes into it is the environmental concerns. How do we really try to take control of the other emissions factors, which is likely to be troubling the environment and leading us to a clean environment as such, whether it is SOx, NOx, and the associated measures that is being taken to take care of all this. What has led to the change scenario, moving from fossil fuel towards non-fossil fuel, majorly being earlier dominated by coal, gas, and trying to move away from this sector towards the non-fossil side, whether it is solar, wind, hydro pump storage, or battery energy storage, or any other such measures which really takes us to that place. I think the last slide which was being shown here really depicts where we are and what is the roadmap which was being shown in the previous panel. Focus definitely turns towards some of the sectors, and particularly I'll pinpoint here two sectors which needs to be focused much. One is hydro and hydro PSP, and the second, definitely in order to have the rotating machines also in place, is the nuclear, if we have to really move away from thermal towards non-fossil side of it. How do we do it is again going to be a big challenge. The numbers are quite mind-boggling. The numbers from a present level of something like in solar from 84 or 85 gigawatt moving to roughly 290 gigawatt by 2030 could be around slightly 300 plus by 32. And if I talk in a time frame of 2047, it could be somewhere around 1200 gigawatt. Similarly, in terms of wind, and until these are supported equally by hydro and hydro PSP, until we do that, probably the skewness is likely to arise, and managing the grid may become very, very difficult. And that is how I am saying that we need to impress upon more on hydro PSP, nuclear, and in that time space. What is more that is required into the system is we need to keep on improving upon the system efficiency in all spheres, whether it is in solar, whatever we have achieved so far. Probably that's not the end of the story because of the land requirement, because of other infrastructure requirement. If we don't address the issue of utilizing more within a given space, probably we will be ending up in trouble and will not be able to realize the future goals. Maybe 2030 looks quite brighter, but if I have to really reach up to the 2047 in that time frame, probably it will become very, very difficult. So what is further required? The efficiency of the solar panels or wind turbines or whatever is coming in the space of renewables, probably we will have to have those efficiencies coming in very quickly. In terms of transmission lines as well, we need to see that how do we are able to minimize the corridor utilization so that we are able to place more number of transmission lines for evacuation of these. And let me tell you, these REs which are coming they are also concentrated in a particular pockets. And unless we address all these issues, probably the things are going to be very, 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 very difficult. Number two, what I have seen and experienced is mostly whenever we take any kind of technology, we try to simply copy and paste. Could be of a European standards or American standards or whatever. What is required in the Indian context is we do take their technology, we do gain experience from them, but when it comes to implementation in India, we must try to see that they meet the Indian conditions. You must have seen recently there had been issues with respect to wind turbines and others. This is mainly because they are not still aligned to the Indian conditions. So whatever technology we are trying to adopt, whatever we are trying to build and try to see that if it is being implemented in India, its applicability in the Indian conditions has to be seen in that perspective. Challenge as we go along, integrating or putting merely solar and wind is not going to help. So the emphasis will shift towards storage as well. And of course, hydro pump storage will definitely do its job. But besides this, we'll be also needing some battery energy storage system or maybe some other technology that may kick in. And these storage, even though across the world, we are seeing that it is coming in the segment of either up to 2 hours or 2 to 4 hours. Even China, I can see that it is coming mostly in that space of 2 to 4 hours. But going forward, if we are planning for beyond 30 or 35 or in a time frame of 2047, probably we will have to see maybe 16 hours, 24 hours, or even multi-day type of storage system, which long duration energy storage type of things that will be required. And because in that time frame, we will not have much base load stations of coal-based and others to support us to meet that kind of a demand. And as the demand is also growing, probably will require this kind of a storage. Maybe recently I could see one technology that is liquid air energy storage, which also seems to be the promising aspects in this. Why I am trying to refer this off and on is because of the inertia requirement in the grid and the technological shift that we will be trying to do. Probably there will be a mismatch between the inertia requirement and the solar and the other panels that we are trying to see. So there has to be some construct wherein we try to have monetization of inertia and try to see that all the equipments which are based on inertia as well, they get some kind of a preference. And that is how probably the hydro and hydro PSP and could be such type of instruments that can take a lead and try to get the things. There are supply chain issues as well. I will not elaborate on this, but I think all of us are aware that there are a number of supply chain issues, mostly in terms of availability of equipment, whether it is HVDC or whether it is in terms of solar panels or anything else. What probably will be required is all these are supposed to be seen in a perspective that we try to have energy security in the country, and in that space, the equipments which are not being manufactured in India, probably we have a roadmap so that in a certain given time frame, we are able to see that the manufacturing also happens in India to a larger extent. Just to quote an example, we have been still struggling with CRGO in transformer, and transformers are required in a much big numbers, and still we have not been able to find solution to that kind of a situation. And there are n number of such examples. I'll not go into the details, but the point to be taken is there are still a number of such equipment, such materials, such things which are required into the system, electrical system, for which we are still dependent. Those dependency will have to be almost finished, or maybe in terms of energy security, if we are targeting a time frame of 2030 or 35 in that thing. So now, since the numbers are huge, the requirements are huge, somebody quoted very recently that even in RE space by 2030, probably we will be requiring a finance of somewhere around 45 lakhs crores of rupees. In just next 6 years, which is a big number. Now, the question comes is there an issue in financing, or is it really available? I think it is available, but the issues are somewhere else. There's no dearth of financing companies. There are no dearth of people who can finance you. But few things, when we talk in detail with the developers and others who really need this finance, they say that the issue comes in terms of the time that is being taken by any financing companies to give you and approve the loans. For example, if you go for any international financing, they will not take less than 1 year to 1.5 years to really clear a project. And what is the gestation period of solar and wind? It is hardly 12 months to 18 months, which means, and the prices are changing so fast that even if somebody sits today and appraise it and he gives you an appraisal after 1.5 years, probably by then the entire situation has changed. So gestation period of this RE is coupled with the time taken by the financing company, probably they will have to design a different type of a business model for financing of RE. This is the point I wanted to highlight here today. That until unless the financing is done in a very, very quick manner, maybe in anywhere from 2 months to 3 months time frame, you will miss the bus. And for this, the construct has to be entirely different. Maybe right now there is a construct of financing each project individually. Can we not have some kind of a portfolio financing? Can we not have some kind of standard mechanism wherein the things are listed out? Okay, are you filling these criteria? You qualify, and the moment you tick all boxes, your project is cleared and you get the finances. So that kind of mechanism in a transparent manner probably will be required. So just an example through which I'm trying to make this point today from this forum is we need to have some business model for quick financing, which will be very, very suitable for RE development as we go along and as we really think. Normally, there is a pole apart differences between the borrower and the financer. I think we need to change that concept. Probably the borrower should be treated as a business partner, not in any other manner. जैसे आप उसको बिजनेस पार्टनर शायद बनाएंगे तो प्रॉब्ली आप दोनों मिल करके उसको फाइनेंसिंग में बहुत आसानी हो जाएगी. एंड प्रॉब्ली जो एक मिसट्रस्ट है बिटवीन द फाइनेंसिंग कंपनी एंड द डेवलपर, प्रॉब्ली दैट इज लाइकली टू गो अवे. वन मोर थिंग आई जस्ट वांटेड टू जस्ट say in this is see, two things are required. One is the timely approval in a quick manner. And the second thing that is required is the cheaper finance. That means what we always keep on telling about the constitutional financing or financing at anything which is less than the domestic financing and all that. So cheap and constitutional financing, there could be a blend of constitutional financing and commercial financing. So all these juggleries and the models can really lead to some kind of innovative financing structure. Or maybe, as I mentioned, that we can have some kind of a standardized financing products, through which mechanism we can try to fast track all the financing aspects of it. One more concept that we were discussing and deliberating and that came to our as a suggestion is, can we have a rolling finance mechanism also, because there are so many developers here today, because number of projects have gone up and they are flooded with the projects. Probably they don't have the much bandwidth to really expand in terms of equity and all. So we were thinking of the asset monetization. We have tried out in 1 or 2 transmission projects as such, and wherein the developers could really get money, and so that they could multiply in other projects as well. So the concept of rolling finance through asset monetization is another thought which can really give more leverage to the developers to go for more and more projects. Portfolio financing definitely is another area of thing. Another thing that is being talked about, and that is what we think is probably can fast track financing aspect, is the concept of rating. But there is with a difference. Present, the rating system takes account of your past record, and then you are able to rate him and you try to give him finances. The thing that is probably, it may so happen that there was a laggard utility which have improved now, or maybe has a plan to improve further. So that kind of assessment, taking care of its reform and its future plans, probably may help in quick financing of their projects as well. One of the very key things which we always miss in terms of finance is the R&D projects, research and development project, which is the highest risky projects, and no financing institution wants to get into this zone. And unless we really touch upon the resource R&D projects and going up to the concept, and then going up to developing the entire value chain from the innovations till commercialization, probably must miss the bus in terms of leading in technology development. So to my understanding, if we have to make technology itself a self-reliance, that means finance is needed for development, and then to further take it up as projects as well. So ultimately, all the 3 things, whether it is technology or policy or finance, all 3 things, 3 verticals of the system needs to work together to see that the sector improves and we grow and we try to achieve the goal which have been set before us. Thank you so much.